Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start this second press conference. I'd like to welcome to the top table Wales head coach Warren Gatland and its captain Alun Wyn Jones. Please remember to raise your hand for the question and wait for the microphone. First one here.
Warren, after the win in Paris during the Six Nations, you said this team has forgotten how to lose. Was this another prime example of that kind of character?
Yeah, I think it was. The message at half-time, France came out and started exceptionally well. And they've got to take your head off to France. I thought they were excellent today and very, very unlucky. They've definitely improved since the Six Nations as a side. But the message at half-time is we need to score first and we'll get off some opportunities, it'll come. And credit to these players, and I'm really proud of the fact that they just don't give up. They never give up, and even when they're under a bit of pressure, they just keep fighting and finding a way to get a result. And obviously the red card was very significant, but that sometimes galvanises teams as well. When it's ironic that the last time we met in the World Cup was very similar in a one-point game as well. So we didn't play our best tonight, but we showed some great character, and that's a testament to this group of men. And we can be excited about looking forward to a semi-final.
Warren, just on that red card for Seb Varmahina, what did you make of it? It looked quite a sickening blow from where we were.
Yeah, I think the officials dealt with it appropriately, and I don't think anyone could complain about that. So I think the right decision was made, and unfortunately that's what rugby's about. It's the heat of the moment stuff, and he's just made an error of judgment. And but when you've got a lot of testosterone involved in pretty high intensive games, that's sometimes going to happen. And unfortunately he's made just like I said, made a poor decision.
Hi, Warren. How nervous were you on your chair during the game, thinking that it could be over?
Yeah, I mean, you start going through lots of different emotions. What I'm going to be saying in here, what am I going to be saying on the TV? So you're thinking of those potential scenarios. I thought France played exceptionally well, and they've made a lot of progress in the last 5 months. And they were the way that they, very simple game plan. They were very strong off 9. Used some strong runners to get a gain line, and some offloading that was exceptional as well. So definitely went through a lot of emotions today. But the thing is, getting in at half time and then getting some clear messages to the players about what we need to do in the second half. So, like I said, I'm really, really, really proud of how we hung in there.
Alun Wyn, could we just get your verdict on the performance overall, please, and what were the message you were driving sort of in the last quarter when the game was in the balance?
In a disappointing sort of way, we started like we did against Fiji, behind the 8 ball, and we were probably chasing a little bit. There was obvious advantage in the second half with the red card, but as Gats said, in fairness to France, I thought they probably had more turnovers in the second half, particularly contact area, because they had to compete more to win the ball. So credit to them. But in fairness, I think the guys stood up in the departments at scrum, line out and bigs, marshalled us around the park. We could have tried to squeeze the points, but the game management was pretty good. You do have one eye on the clock. Territory possession, all those things go through your head, but it's a case of sticking to process. I know you've heard it all before, but with that advantage, we had to keep chipping away, and we got our just rewards in the end.
Alun Wyn, congratulations. Can you just talk us through what it was like in that definitive scrum towards the end? Obviously, you've got your head down, buried in there somewhere. Did you know what was going on and what was the emotion?
Obviously, in credit to Dylan, I think it was more down to, you know, he put his hand up on the tight head. He'd made the error before that, the ruck, and I think he'd obviously led the scrum there in the front row. Did the job as a back five. You know, you're constantly, again, sorry to say the word, but you're talking about process, and you create a platform, and then Tom put the pressure on the back, and you know, you've got to chase lost causes sometimes, particularly in those areas of the field, and you know, credit to the boys off the back. They did that off the base of the foundation, sorry, from the front five. So and that's what we train for, that's what we practice, and it's nice to see that get into the 80.
Warren, was it disappointing that the late drama and the try was played out in front of a half-empty stadium? I don't know if you have any thoughts on that and the fans leaving.
I didn't see anyone leave. So.
It was about half-empty. There was a lot of people that left.
So?
Just asking if it's disappointing.
Why?
Because you want as many people in there to enjoy the moment and a quarter-final of the World Cup.
There's probably a lot of people leaving who probably thought the game was won and trying to get away to beat the traffic. Is that a fair assessment? Yeah. I leave games early to get away and beat the traffic.
Of Josh Navidi and Jonathan Davis as well. Is he going to be fit for the semi-final?
Josh looks like he's done a bit of a hamstring, but we don't know how severe that is. And Jonathan wasn't far away from being right. He just made a decision that was best for the team. I was concerned during the week that potentially we're going with two midfielders who were carrying knocks. So he pulled out of yesterday's captain's run, and then we assessed him this morning, and he wasn't 100%, but he wasn't far away. So hopefully the next 48 hours or so that he'll, you know, the plan is to put himself in contention for next week's semi-final.
Warren, what will the memory of 2011 and how close you came as a team that year do going into the semi-final next week?
I think the players that were involved in 2011 obviously will, and coaches as well. So, you know, that does have an advantage in terms of that preparation and remembering about that. But we didn't play as well as we could have tonight. You know, we need to go away and have a look at some critical areas of our game. Just the way that teams have been quite effective in playing against us and getting a bit of success. You know, like I said, they were very direct today, and then they got some gain line and put us under some pressure. So we need to address that. You know, we're excited about being where we are now. So you're in a semi-final of the World Cup, and Alun Wyn's been saying, you know, it's 240 minutes to do something for the rest of your life. So we're down to 160 now. So if you can't get excited about that, then you know nothing will excite you. So we've got some work to do this week in terms of the way you know we train and that. But you know, today, like, it was about not giving up. I thought our bench was outstanding, and they gave us impact. We've had a very good run against France. I think that's 8 of the last 9 games we've won against them. We've had a very good record against South Africa as well. If they happen to make the semi-final, they've got an exciting game against Japan to face. And so whoever we do meet, you know, we'll relish that opportunity, because as young men, they've got something to do to create something really special.
Alun Wyn, you're at the end of a long road, or you're nearing the end of a really long road. Do you sense that physically the team is it draining away, or do you sense that physically they're as strong as they were when they started?
Well, we prepped for this. We've been to some dark places in the the preparation up to this, 4 months and games like today. You know, lots of people are carrying niggles when you play essentially in autumn and then another autumn series right behind it. And that's essentially what you do, all the tier 1 games that are, you know, backing up. But again, you've got an opportunity again next week. The weeks do feel like they're a little bit longer, and the days feel a little bit longer because of obviously the magnitude of the occasion you've got coming up. But physically, this is what we prepared for, and you know, we're ready to go on to the next one.
We have time for 2 more questions in the back and in the front.
Hi, Warren. Given the way that France played in the first half, were you quite pleased to get to half-time just 9 points down?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I thought it was a critical moment for them when we were down to 40 men and they went to take the 3 points and Intermac hit the post. You know, it was a big moment in the game. You know, potentially if they'd gone to the corner and got some success out of that, you know, possibly would have been game over. So, yeah, we were very. We needed to get to half-time and just consolidate things. The yellow card was disappointing for us because we kind of felt we were just getting back into the game a little bit, and then we had to sort of go into a mode of just trying to eat out the clock and get back to 15 men, and that was important. So it stopped a little bit of momentum that we were trying to create in that first half.
Alun Wyn, with just 2 games now to go, how determined are you personally and the squad as a whole to finish the job and do something no Welsh team's ever done before?
Well, again, these last 3 games, everyone's got whoever's involved got potential to be involved in them all. And that's why you speak about the minutes as a whole, because the emotive pressure of peaking and troughing within the 3 weeks is very difficult. So you've got to look at it as a whole and then chop it up as you like. As we've seen today, with Foxy not being available in the centre, there's about the 31, and that remains the way it is. We've emphasised that before the squad was announced and when we came into the tournament, and that's still the way. 31 are going to be ready for next week.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We will open the mix zone in 5 minutes, so we invite you to make your way downstairs.